What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We're out here tonight. It's a late one. We're going to do wheel spaces and roll the guards on the 8.6. Getting it ready for the Life of Motorsport event coming up this Saturday. So tomorrow it's going in to get a new clutch, and then it's going to be the mechanics for a little bit. So I'm trying to get as much stuff done as now so I don't have to do it right before the event. Let's just have a look at the stock fitment of the tyres, where they're at now. So I actually run 18s on the front, 18 by 8.5s with a semi-slick. And then I'm just running these GTS 17-inch rims on the back. They're like a 17 by 7.5, I think. So as you can see, there is a pretty decent gap here. Not up there, but here. And then on the front, I've got a bit of camber as well. So you can see there's heaps in here. And so the whole reason I'm doing this is because I noticed my front wheel on the left side is rubbing on my sway bar and just inside the guard. I don't know why, because the right hand side isn't doing it, but yeah, so I just thought I'm gonna go get that done. So I've got 25mm wheel spaces, we're gonna chuck them on, but because the fitment's gonna be pretty tight once I chuck them on, I'm gonna roll the guards as well just to make sure we don't wreck anything while we're out on the track. Alright, so I've actually never done this before, but my friend Harry Clark, shout out, he came and helped me do it when my other hand was in a cast on my street car. He basically did it and I just watched him, so I got a pretty good idea of what to do. We've got the guard roller. You definitely need a heat gun because you want to heat up the paint and the metal so that when it folds in, that it's not going to kink or it's not going to peel. The paint will crack. When we did it on my street car on the SS, we went a little bit too hard as well, and too hard too fast, and maybe wasn't heated up enough, and I got like a kink here, which you can just see. But you definitely, if this is just like a street car you're doing, you want to do it properly. Take it easy, go slow, make sure you heat it up properly. We'll have a look at what it looks like now so we can do comparison down the line. Yeah, so you can fit my whole hand behind it there. So hopefully we'll get that flat. Try not to go too far past here where it naturally stops, because then you'll just be forcing it too much. I actually did that and cracked the paint. Start off, heat the guard. Guard roller on. That's it. Shouldn't take too long. Alright. So I screwed this up and I didn't heat it up first when I did that. So, but up here is good. You can see I can't really fit my fingers behind it. So it's nice and flat. And there's some like rubber stuff that's coming off. But otherwise, it's good, apart from this little mishap. So that's something to keep an eye on. And I did it up here as well. But not a bad job for a drift car, that'll do. Now that we've rolled the guard, we can throw the wheel spacer on. I didn't really need to run wheel spacers at all on the back, but I'm putting them on the front, so I'm gonna put them on the back. So we got these. One thing I did, I made sure I just hit this with the wire brush to make sure everything was clean. Because obviously if you're putting this on, you're not gonna want a bunch of crap at the back of it. You want it to be a flush fit. So as you can see, that's it. I got these just got these off Facebook Marketplace, off like some guy who was just making them in a factory. So they were pretty cheap too. So we just chuck these lug nuts on that come with them. So you're chucking the lug nuts on that you get with the wheel spacer on your original lugs, and then these will replace it. So these are just a 5x100 to a 5x100. So we'll throw these on. Make sure you torque these down to spec. I don't know what the spec is right now, but make sure you do it. Go. Wheel spacer. Alright, so we've got the rear done. My suspension sits pretty high, but as you can see, much better fitment there. Let's do the front, the most important one. If you're doing this by yourself, you're going to be trying to do up the nuts and the wheel's going to keep spinning on the front. Get yourself a bit of wood, stick it on the brake and wedge it up against the seat. Or get a friend. Alright, so the whole reason I'm doing the wheel spacers is because I noticed that the wheel on full lock was rubbing on the sway bar and obviously inside the guard there. It's only happening on the left side, so I'm hoping that like maybe the rack's not out of place and maybe it's just that I get full lock when I go that way. But either way, we're putting the wheel spacers on now. So if you're running the stock wheels, what everyone says to do is to run 20s on the front and 25s on the back, because the back has like a bigger gap. But I actually bought the 20s and put them on. And as you can see here, the original lugs, they stick through a bit. So if you're running the stock wheels, that's fine, because the stock wheels, all wheels have this gap here where it allows for that to stick through. On the stock wheels, that's really big, it's like a 15mm gap. But on these, it was only like, it's only like 5mm, it's not really enough. It's like 3mm probably. So rather than, you know, cutting things and changing everything, I'm just getting rid of these and chucking these 25mm ones on. So if I wasn't running camber on my wheel, these wouldn't work. They would be rubbing on the guards. Luckily, the camber running in actually helps with the fitment of this. So as you can see with the 25mm, it doesn't really stick through. So that will help with the fitment. Alright, so the front one didn't work as well because this car's been in an accident. The guard has been damaged. It was already kind of, someone had already had like a bit of a crack at it with a hammer. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it actually come up pretty good. When I was trying to roll it here, the guard was just flexing because there's nothing holding it in. But we got all the most important part that I was worried about was here where the wheel is closest to their guard. And that's done pretty well, so it should be alright. If not, we'll deal with it later. Alright, we'll do the hub now. Alright, so we're all done. Got the fronts on, both sides. Just before I lower the car, just want to give it a bit of a spin and make sure it's running smooth, because if it's not, you're going to have a lot of dramas, and you'll notice when you're driving, but you don't want to be driving with your wheel buckling in and out. So definitely make sure you check that. That's it. Let's lower it down and see what it looks like. One thing I'll say that I realized or noticed, I just did the heat gun on the other side. Because someone had already hit it in with a hammer, it wasn't as big a deal to do it perfectly. Obviously it's a track car, not a street car. So I did the heat gun and then I just hit it with a rubber mallet, and it actually worked really well. So just goes to show how important the heat gun is. Don't try and do it without a heat gun. Borrow one off one of your mates, or else you'll peel the paint, you'll buckle all the guards. But came up a treat. As you can see, that is a premium fitment compared to what it was. You can see the camber runs in a bit, which gets at a really good spot there. And you got the rear. So if I run the my 18s on the rear, which I do have 18s for, I think I'll have to take the spacers off because they'd be sticking out a bit. Both sides. Premium fitment. So now I just got a few other things to just finish up. Got to put the roof lining back on. I did an event the other weekend. I didn't film it, but it was like 38 degrees on a skid pan, and every time you were waiting in the line, I could feel my head like cooking like an egg. So I'm gonna put the roof liner back on. It will get you know, stop the heat from going straight through the roof onto my brain. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far into the video, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment if you think you would have done anything different. This is the first time I've ever done these things. Still, it's going to be good to get out onto the track and see how it goes. I'll have to give you an update on that video as well. But yeah, keep an eye out soon. We're on Saturday, which is 4 days from now. We're going to do Life of Motorsport's first event at Winton Raceway. So very excited for that. It's going to be on the short track, not on the skid pan. So hopefully we get some good driving in. Check out the other videos. Heaps more 8.6 footage coming up. Garage is an absolute pigsty at the moment, trying to get everything ready. But yeah, plenty more videos coming up. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.